Hell yeah. The three of them swam out into the darkness of the deep ocean trench that was the City of Books. In that massive, vast trench of bookshelves, they vanished into the darkness almost immediately. The library defied the common sense of the human world. The City of Books. The word city was no exaggeration. And it was filled with green glowing eyes of Bernkastle's countless cat familiars. Trying to count them would be almost as crazy as counting all the fish in the ocean. They formed schools that swam all over the place, on the lookout for any fools who might miraculously have managed to slip in and disturb their master's party. If Badler's group was found, the cats would report it instantly. They would probably form a pack, open their large mouths, and swallow them in a single gulp. There would be no fight. In this place, Badler's party would be swallowed like tiny fishes if they were discovered. The warships surrounding the Golden Land were well more than 100 strong. Each of them had dozens of cannons pointing at the door to the Golden Land. The goats that packed the decks of the ships numbered in the tens of thousands. Each one of them carried enough anti-magic toxin in their fangs to completely deny one of the game board pieces. This time, they would chew apart and eat away everything. A crowd of goats unleashed their rotten breath and dangling drool. At that time, Etika, who wanted to avoid trouble and hoped Banta would be able to convince Lambda Delta to surrender peacefully, was sitting alone, calmly enjoying the tea Ronove had poured for her. Of course, even Etika wasn't planning to give them unlimited time. In her mind, she already decided to allow them 3 yawns before stepping in.
意外に悪くないものあのデアトが敗北主義者と罵られながら
あの短気だったお嬢様がよくぞここまで落ち
何がおかしいの？
いいえ、次の紅茶はいかがです？古今東西あらゆるネイチャーをどうかごゆっくりお楽しみくださいませ。
ラムダはベアト側について徹底抗戦、仲間を集めてまさか上
The messenger cat shook its head, then continued to dispassionately meow its report.
ラムダだってそアウアウを敵に回すような真似をするどういうことになるか
Even as she said this, Bernkastle was chewing away at her thumbnail.
あの子ああ見えて妙な友人が多いそれのとびきりの化け物です物好きな連中がねそれでも元老院に立てつく側につくなんて
It was possible. She could think of many monsters among Lambda Delta's friends who would love to see a losing side gain support and make a comeback victory. Before she realized it, the finger Bernkastle was biting was covered with sweat.
やりかねないあの子たまに本当にバカだから電話よ早く
The cat leapt away, then flew back with a phone and a receiver.
あの子の友人たちに電話するわバカなゲームに関わらないようにって警告しなくちゃ
Oh.
電話番号なんで私って番号登録してないのよそうよね
Oh right, I have no friends.
友達ゼロだもん電話のお作法って最初はもしもしでよかったんだったかしら
Oh, that's great. The golden key was being kept in a room inside the City of Books. However, perhaps room wasn't a fitting word to use. It was large enough that you could probably fit 2 domed baseball stadiums in it if you tried. Even so, in this city, these were called rooms. Floating in the center of this vast room were several sacred magic circles. Wrapped around by these magic circles was Angie's gold key. Surrounding these were countless emerald green stars, which looked like a slowly revolving planetarium. The eyes that numbered the same as the stars were all glaring in the same direction. One of the cats cat paddled towards Ava, meowing that no one was allowed to enter this room. Oh. After looking at each other with suspicious eyes, the cats glared at Ava again, so saying that they hadn't learned any such order.
って体柔らかいのよね。じゃあ噛めるわよね。
Ava's still looking out for Angie. Ava lifted up her golden staff, and the floor and ceiling of the vast room were covered with red lines. The reaction from the cats was lightning fast. They realized instantly that this was hostile behavior. The entire emerald green constellation writhed and became a single massive deep-sea fish, which charged at Ava with its cavernous mouth open wide. However, at the same time, the red lines on the floor and ceiling, a massive spiderweb, pinched itself together and crushed the fish. Twisted it, spun it around and around, and compressed it into the size of a small ball. Then that ball-shaped thing burst open, leaving nothing left. It all happened in an instant.
へそでも噛んで死んじゃえば。
Okay. The witch hunters were holding a convention in the event hall. After all, when Nishirame Ava's diary was opened, the endless cat box would be lost, along with the countless imagined stories that had entertained them for so long. This final convention was a time for them to air their best theories one last time. While the opening of the cat box did give them a slightly lonely feeling, they couldn't contain their excitement as intellectual, not when they knew that the Rokenjima mystery was finally going to be solved once and for all. If that box were opened, a single girl would be hurt. However, their jaws and fangs couldn't care less. The witch-hunting goat nobles kept licking their lips, wanting to chew apart the guts of Beatrice's cat box as soon as they could. Seated upon a solemn throne so tall it looked like a pillar, Featherine listened in on the nonsense being spewed from the mouths of the goat nobles. A black cat wearing a cape silently appeared and whispered something into Featherine's ear. Wearing a cape.
いいや、よい。すべて私の筋書き通りに進む。巫女の耳には入れずともよい。
Oh! The cat bowed humbly and vanished. Featherine raised her wineglass high and laughed as she looked through it to the light of the chandelier, which was as beautiful and majestic as the moon.
これで素晴らしき朗読への恩には十分であろう。人の子よ。はて、物語を紡いでいるのは誰なの？私がそなたに？それともそなたが私に？
Okay. As batters group moved forward, darting from bookshelf to bookshelf, and avoiding the eyes of the cats, they found something strange. Written with a faintly glowing red substance was a letter and an arrow. K, that way. That's what it looked like to them.
K は鍵を意味してると思うか。
私たちが近づいたら、これは私たちに向けてのメッセージよ。ここに私たち以外で味方をしてくれる。
いるのか？俺たちに味方を。
Eva. Angie traced the red arrow with her finger. It was written with very faint thin strings that had been tied together. This red stuff, which stuck to your finger and tore away like cotton candy, had to be spiderweb.
味方よ。私の一番の味方。
Hell yeah. Aw, man.
どうして保証できんのよ。
Yep, Battler.
ラムだ。これを書いたやつは信用できる。多分。安全に鍵のありかへたどり着ける。
いいのね。あまりもたもたしていられない。
True.
ありがとう、お母さん。
Aw, man. Let's fucking go. Yeah, how are they looking at the Golden Land? I imagine they can't be going well. I imagine Erika's starting to get a little suspicious. And they're like, okay, they're just repeating the same shit over and over. In the Arbor, the argument over whether they should surrender or fight continued without signs of stopping. Like, she's gotta be suspicious that she hasn't heard Battler or Lambda's voices. Every now and then a small fight would break out, which fortunately ended up delaying Erika's third yawn. However, they didn't know how long they would have to continue this fake fight. Keeping this high level of tension going was physically stressful. The instant they tired out and the tension faded, Erika would probably demand a verdict. They had to constantly appear to be trapped and agitated. It was a battle of weariness and tension. This was their fight. Erika waited patiently. Now that she had tired of tea, she was watching Ronove perform some magic tricks, and seemed to be enjoying herself considerably. Even Ronove, who was usually aloof from the world, was fighting. If Etika got bored and had a tantrum, an all-out attack would probably begin at once. He was also putting his life on the line in the fight to buy time for Battler's group. Hell yeah, he was. As the fiercest leader in the argument, Beato wore out the quickest. She breathed heavily and her face was so pale it seemed she might faint at any moment.
ベアト、しっかり。そのテンションを続けてたら体力が続かない。急に泣き出したふりをしてしばらく休む。その間を私たちがつなぐわ。まだやるぞ。もう一度行くぞ。さあ誰から行く？一番槍の欲しいものは。
ではゴーダ参ります。ここは戦わずして敗北を受け入れること。私は最初からここは戦い抜くべき。
ちょっと待ってください。
Yep, god damn it, Gohda! Fucking Gohda. It's always fucking Gohda. Early on, I started noticing that Gohda would like he almost sabotage things, right? That's kind of what like fed into my suspicions of him. Gohda's just a fuck up, all right? Gohda just fucks everything up. That's all he's good for, is just fucking everything up. God damn it, Gohda. My guy, come the fuck on. Of course, especially in the final moments, you got Gohda fucking everything up. You got Gohda fucking everything up. Like, no, we must fight. I've said this since the very beginning. Have you now? Come on, Gohda. How can you not stick to one side and actually know what side you're on? How? The fucking children are doing better than you, my guy. The fucking 9-year-old is doing better than you, my dude. How do you not start with, I think we should surrender, and not realize that, oh yeah, my point was, I'm the surrender guy. Like they said, it's a physically stressful thing, and I'm sure it's a mentally stressful thing too, in their situation they're in, of course. But like, how is that not like the fucking in the forefront of your mind, where you're like, I need to be, to where it's like, okay, my position in this scenario we've created is that I am the surrender guy. I think we surrender. Let's surrender. I get part of it's probably like his fucking ego stepping in, like, oh, in this moment of need, I need to step up for the people I serve. I will go up against Beato. Let's do this. But then he forgets that, oh wait, I'm technically on Beato's side because I was pro-surrendering. Shit. I understand how he would fuck this up, but god damn it, why does he fuck it up? Of course he has to fuck it up. I hate this. I'm scared to press enter again because it's just like, oh, how's everything gonna unravel from here? Yep, the music goes away. Yep. Etika suddenly rose from her chair. Ronove tried to coax her back into her seat, but Etika's attention was completely focused on those arguing under the arbor.
私は探偵です。
Yep.
聞いたことは録音するかのように記憶できます。
それは無論、そなたは優秀な探偵でもあるからな。
あんたに興味ありません。ゴーダさん、私の質問に答えてください。
は、私めが何かご無礼をいたしま。
ちょっとお待ち。戦いを望まぬ者がいることもお忘れなく、私は降参が良いかと思います。私がここに訪れて一番最初に聞いたですが、今あなたここは戦うべき、戦わずして敗北を受け入れること。私は最初からここは戦い抜く、そう言いました。
いや、そんなことも申し上げたでしょうか。
Of course Gohda was the only one who couldn't stick to his fucking story. Of course it was Gohda, the only one. She was able to keep up with the farce for so long because everyone stuck to their story. Everyone stuck to the role they were in. Like, whether you're pro-surrender, pro-fight, pro-battler, pro-lambda, whatever side you were on, you stuck to it, right? But this motherfucker makes one little slip up. And you thought she wouldn't notice. Of course she's paying attention to every single word that's being said. Of course she is. Which also then begs the question, why did she never raise any concerns over the fact that she couldn't hear Battler or Lambda's voices? Because if she can single out someone's voice specifically, like she did with Gohda, and be like, oh no, I know what you said, and I know what you said now, that doesn't... How does she not, like, listen to all these voices and not realize, I'm not hearing Battler or Lambda.
議論の中で意見が変わることも時にあるかと思います。
Except they said it from the beginning.
そうで他の皆さんも先ほどからどちらがいいか迷っておりまして。
いいえ、あなたたちの議論は一貫して誰も意見を変えていません。たった今、唐突にゴーダさんだけがその主張を逆転。しかもゴーダさんに対する他の人間からの発言を振り返っても、彼が主張を逆転させるに足るものがあったとは思えません。
An uncomfortable moist wind blew by. Why did the wind have to be moist? Everyone was silent, frozen as though time had stopped. In that silence, Erika continued with a blank expression.
以上から導き出される一つは、ゴーダさんにもともと意見はなく、その場の
I mean, honestly, that is
適当
true.
なことを言ういい加減な人間
Which I think is the case in this.
もう一つは、ゴーダさんに限らず、そもそも誰も
Which is the truth, but also
議論そのものが
Gohda is a loser that will say anything that goes with the flow, which I think, honestly, both statements are true. He said what he did because it went with the flow, but also the argument itself has no purpose.
それは
Oh,
考えすぎではない。
Erika overthinking? What? No. Erika.
わらわたちは必死に、時に普段は考えられぬ心変わりがあっても
意味もなく議論を延長することに意味があるとすれば、あなたたちは時間を稼ぐと何が有利になるのです？ラムダデルタ教の援軍がやってくるからです。それも違います。なぜならあなた時折ラムダデルタ教やバトラに話しかけているのですが、以上すべてから考えて導き出される推理は一つです。
Yep, that Lady Lambda Delta and Battler are not here now. And that these people have won Lady Lambda Delta's assistance, with Lady Lambda Delta and Battler probably planning to sneak into the City of Books. In which case, their goal is probably to steal back the Golden Key, and Angie. And your plan was to act as bait and buy time until their mission was complete.
ただゴーダさんがセリフを言い間違えるだけで、
Because of course it was Gohda.
フルドエリカにはこの程度の推理が可能でいかがです？皆様方。
Who do you think, everyone? With a blank, yet ruthless expression, Erika spoke these words and returned to her seat. Everyone else was frozen, unable to move. No one spoke. However, time was moving. As evidence, a bead of sweat dripped down someone's cheek, fell, and hit the table with a tiny, yet audible splat. Really? That's where we're going with this. Fuck yeah, I love this song. Anyway, then frozen time shattered, and in the same instant, the white chair Erika had been sitting in broke apart. Yeah, did it? I mean, I guess this is like a last-ditch attempt, but they don't think it's gonna work, right? The stakes of the Seven Sisters of Purgatory and the high-velocity rounds from the Chess Course Sister hit the chair at exactly the same time. And a few months after that, the Erika sitting in that chair faded and vanished.
残像早い殺せ
In an instant, Erika had moved to a spot behind the chair. Her expression remained as blank as it had been before. However, there was now something in her hand that hadn't been there. As the 7 lightning strikes of the 7 sisters raced at her once more, she battered them all away with her scythe.
とんだ茶番でした。でも紅茶は美味しかったですね。では皆さんの意見は最初から統一されている。改めましてお返事をお伺いしましょう。
Erika lifted her left hand, the one that wasn't holding the scythe.
よかろうぞ。ここはわらわの我らの王土足で踏み入るならば相応の歓迎をしようぞ。つまりだ上品
全訪問攻撃時目標黄金
味噌汁で顔洗って出直してきやがれ。
鏡打ちやれ。そうそれじゃにゃー。
Meow. Burncaster set down the receiver and crossed out yet another name on a list of Lambda Delta's notable friends. Something was wrong. Not a single person she called had heard anything from Lambda Delta. They were just playing dumb. They really knew nothing about the strange ruckus Lambda Delta was trying to stir up. Even Burncaster was starting to suspect that something was fishy, and then all of a sudden Messenger Cat appeared. Then a black cat leapt in and meowed a frantic report.
黄金鏡にラムダとバトラが。
She tore the phone receiver from its stand. The number she dialed was short. It was probably an internal line. However, after listening to it ring several times, she slammed the receiver down again, finally managing to break the phone.
手の空いている猫をすべて集めなさい。鍵の警護にやった猫たちが誰も応答しない。ラムダー。
Burngastel, overwhelmed with emotion, kicked the table over. Then, the room finally grew bright. It was like green sunlight. A bright green light waved about, giving the illusion that a green sun was rising and lighting the room up. It was a sign that Burngastel's army had been given an emergency summons.
さあおいで子猫たち。魔女狩りの時間よ。あの子はキャンディーの匂いがするからね。すぐに見つけられるわ。最初に見つけた猫には人の姿と魔女の称号をあげるわ。
What was now an emerald green nebula let out a roar of delight that shook the bookshelf cliff.
何かが追ってくるわ。
なんだ緑。
隠れてバレたのよ。
The three of them frantically hid behind a bookshelf. The room with the key in it was straight ahead. They could see something glinting faintly in the darkness of that room. It was a glint different from anything else they had seen so far in the city. The color of the glint was gold. They had almost reached the golden key. However, if they went towards it, Burngastel would be right behind them, along with their vast swarm of familiars. In other words, they were trapped in a dead end. They already knew that the emerald green color came from the eyes of the familiars. However, it was almost beyond comprehension that this undulating green sun could be the same thing. And they could do nothing except stare in wide-eyed shock. Countless cats were passing through the ravine of bookshelves, from the very top to the very bottom. As they approached, they painstakingly checked the gaps between each book. However, even this mind-numbingly huge task was accomplished swiftly, thanks to the sheer number of familiars.